And we're live. Awesome. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today to Agents Who Win on we're going to call it Fire Friday because for some reason my little plant's on fire over here.
I can see it.
But and it's truly not on fire. It's something with the background. But I appreciate everyone tuning in. And I've got my partner, Angela McCurdy, here. She's been on our team for 6 years now. I believe 6 years or almost at 6 years. And you've been selling real estate for just under 20 years. So I appreciate the tenure that you've got with us on the team and in the business and going through the ups and downs, like myself being 20 years in the business, seeing all kinds of things going on. She's in the Orlando market with myself. So we want to talk today about sphere, repeat, and referral business and how that can work, whether it's for a seasoned agent and a brand new agent. And, you know, we've spent a lot of time, you know, talking about different lead generation, what to buy, what to use, whether it's Zillow, pay-per-click, et cetera. And majority of the business that you and I both handle is a lot of our past clients. So I wanted to kind of dive in and just see what you're doing to stay in touch with your past clients and trying to help build that further.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks, Todd, for having me on today. I guess the very first thing I can say when it comes to past clients is be patient, because to build that business, you've had to do a little business, right, for it to come back around. So it can take a while for that to come to fruition as far as past clients. But that's why, especially as a new agent, if there's any new agents listening today, it's really important to start from the very beginning by, first of all, being organized. So developing a database that you can put all of your sphere into and really keep track of, all the business that you do together and a formal way of staying in touch. Make sure you have all their contact information so you can set something up so you can stay in touch, whether it's, quarterly, monthly, weekly, monthly, whatever it might be. So that's some advice I would give to new agents, to start that out from the very beginning, to be organized.
What we've started with is with the team, it's create your top 50 or create your top 100. Yeah. And then, you want to leverage them. You want their phone, their email, their home address, and you want to be able to get in touch with them on a weekly basis or monthly basis, however you want to, but provide some value to them. And it's different on the new agents versus the seasoned agents, because we just had our event this weekend, which I was one of our brand new agents had the most success with it because she invited people who were either that were already referring her and or potential clients, and so she walked out with 3 new buyers.
And that's something to remember. We've been doing events together, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, and different kinds of events. And I think this was a topic you had in another one of your shows, so we won't get too deep into it. But yeah, it's really important that not only do you try to invite, your past clients to those events, you want to, touch the people invite the people that are part of your life that want to support your business and watch your business grow. So, because those are the people that are going to refer you business. So it's just as important to include them in those types of events as it is, just past clients.
So I put a post out the other day. It's like, if you had $100 to do marketing, what would the best thing you can do? And that's like an agent. They're walking in, they've already dumped a couple grand getting into the business. Now I got to go find the clients. It's like, so the best things I saw people post were take your top 10 people out for coffee. You figure each coffee, depending if you go to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, whatever, for the 2 of you, it's going to be about $5 a cup. So there's 10 lunch dates or coffee dates right there to talk to people and see how they can help get you business. And it's not, you need that large thing because we are a large team, so we can host larger events with 100 to 200 people. Where you're an individual agent, you're not going to do something as large or happy hours or stuff like that.
Right. And that's a personal way of, reaching out to your sphere, is by inviting them to coffee like that. Or, it's really important, that personal touch. I think we are in such a digital age, technology, all of that. But I do think you have to go back to old school a little bit, where you actually have conversations with people, you have them face to face, you reach out to them on a regular basis from a personal level. And you don't even have to discuss real estate. It's about maintaining those relationships and building that communication that's going to keep them, engaged in who you are and what you do,
Well, the best way to, when we do events, or not even events, it's like one of the things that we were talking about before with another group was, and use Fight Club as an example, the best way to talk about Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. The best way to talk about real estate is don't talk about it. And then at the very end, I was at a lunch with somebody last week talking on some things, and we were just bashing back and forth about different topics. And at the very end, he goes, now let's talk about this. And I didn't even want to bring it up, and they brought it up. So I was like, let them bring up the referral, let them bring up the business, let them bring up anything they can. But don't make it about you, make it about them.
It is. You need to make it about them. You need to you need to let them talk. You need to listen. You need to ask questions about them personally. So that's really important. That kind of leads me more to the technology, like of Facebook and Instagram, and all those places that we can go stalk people, so to speak. Yeah. But it's important to know what's going on in other people's lives, so you can also be there for them and know what's going on. So like I definitely have. I'm not friends with everyone that's a past client. I mean, I try to a certain extent to build that. So I can see what's going on in their lives and stay on top of what they're doing. But you can find out if someone's having a baby. There's a lot of things you can find out about people, and gives you another reason to reach out to them. Right? They're having a baby. They might need a bigger house. Sadly they might have had a death in the family. They may have gotten married. There's so many different things that you can find out about your past clients or your sphere by stalking them. So
right. Well, it's the Cyberstalk, and it's like you learn. Gary Vee in his first book that he wrote talked about the thank you economy. And so if someone like you had the wine club, and so if he ordered wine and there was a big purchaser of wine, he would go on Twitter or wherever and see what these people keep talking about or what their interests are. And he would send them the hockey jersey signed by somebody. He would send them something of value that they liked, and it kept them coming back. Yeah. And so that's a big thing. It's like, so you're just want to, you can go in there, Cyberstalk them, see what they're doing. Oh, they did have that baby. And it's like, you send a congratulations.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. When you do send something, whether it's a thank you card or, a birthday card, whatever it is, I'm still all about mail. Like if the mail service goes under, which who knows what's going to happen, that's going to freak me out, because I am very old school about sending thank yous. I've really tried to instill it in my children to do that, because kids today, they don't even know what it's like to mail something, the importance of that. But I think a thank you is one of the most personal things you can do for the biggest to the smallest thing that may have happened. Who is that from?
This is mailed to me 3 months ago. This is mailed to me a year ago. I got 2 on my desk that were mailed in the last 2 years. I save them,
I save all mine too. I have them all over my bulletin board here. Like it means a lot to me to get handwritten anything from somebody, because you don't see that much today. But I think it's personal note. Mm-hmm.
And we just signed up with AM cards with Curtis Lucy, and we've got a show that we did with him here. You can go back and look at an episode about just, I kind of automated some, and where you can go in and it'll be in our database. We haven't talked to you guys about this yet, so you're the first one to find out.
I it in there. I knew it was coming. Yeah.
Actually, I think you jumped in that meeting, but whatchamacallit. So we're going to be able to go in and just like automate our notes going out to people so we can get them done, because I don't always sit down and write handwritten 5 notes, but it's like, so you can automate some of it to help get it done.
Of course you can. But I mean, on meaningful things, I think it really needs to be handwritten, and you really need, like, I don't want a system to do everything for me, because then I don't know what it's doing, right? I need to know some of those important milestones that some of my clients may be going through.
Right.
It'll help with my future business. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole idea on our end is we're typing it out, and then it's going to handwrite it in there for us, and it's like done and sent. Right. That I need, because I always I used to be part of the Buffini Club, and I ended up having 500 note cards sitting in my drawer because I never sent them out. And I would God, what do I say to this person? I'm not that, and then they can't read it.
Yeah.
So I'm
well, you do have kind of like a chicken scratch kind of.
Yeah. That's the doctor notes right there.
There you go. I think too, another way to reach out to people and stay top of mind is to provide, I think you mentioned a second ago, value. So once you close on a past client, I think it's really important not to forget them. I think a lot of agents especially like, we're part of the big team. You have a lot of lead generation that you work very hard to provide your agents. And so there's lead generation coming in, and you feel like you got to grab this and grab that, especially in this market right now where everything is selling, day one on the market. You have to jump. So while all that's happening, it's important not to forget the people you've already serviced, right? So you don't want to let go of that. So if you can reach out to those people, still remind yourself of providing something of value, whether it's like I just had 2 closings last week. I've reached out to both of those customers twice since then, to make sure they got moved in with what they need, right? You want to make sure there's no loose ends that you missed. You don't want them to have to contact you about something. You want to be contacting them, right? So providing value as far as, do you need a contractor for something? Do you need, or for referral for setting up utilities, whatever it may be that's providing value. You don't want to forget them. And especially like right after you close. Some people just close and it's just, they next, move on, right? You don't want to do that because you're still top of mind to them because you just had a closing. So that's usually when they're the happiest.
Well,
so that's,
you think about the statistics, and I don't know them exactly, is like 87% of the people would use the same agent again, but 25 and I think 100% of those people can't remember the realtor's name. And so it's like you've got to keep sending them stuff and being in touch and doing that.
Right. And that's why you have to be organized, because you can't do that if you're not organized. So when you're a new agent, that's why I really push it. As a team lead right now with some of the new agents on our team, that's one of the things I really push is get organized from day one, because you don't want to backtrack. It's hard to go back when you start getting busy, right? So you need to do it from day one. Yeah.
So I've got clients that I'm still in touch with from 2000, 2001, 2, 3, and 4, but some reason they're not in my thought of mind when I go to when we do the events. Like, oh, I forgot to invite this person or that person because I didn't get them organized in the beginning. And we've been using the same database now for 8 years, Follow Up Boss, which is great. And they're in there, but I forgot to tag them. Or they're a late reminder, to the events. I'm like, well, I don't even care if they come. I just want to make sure they get an invite so they think they're part of it.
Yeah. Well, that's because a lot of times we're just looking at, the sales we did this past year, right? So you're thinking you want to touch all those people, but you don't want to forget the people from the year before, the year before, the year before, and whatnot. So because those are the ones that are eventually going to turn around and sell. They're either going to downsize, they're going to upsize, whatever it's going to be. And if you forget those people, the next thing I'm totally guilty of not being organized in the past. And then all of a sudden I go on MLS and I see a property listed. And I'm like, oh my God, I sold that house. That happened recently, and I'm devastated by it, but it was from something like 10 years ago. Right. So a lot's changed then. And I saw where a condo in the Springs had been listed. And I'm like, I sold her that condo. Shame on me, because that should be me selling that condo now. But I somewhere dropped the ball and didn't stay in touch. And I won't let that happen again.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, it makes you want to time block out to go back and make sure you specifically reach all your people. I did that yesterday because I've got some things I've been lacking to do, and I blocked out 1 to 4 to get that taken care of. So I had no appointments booked, nothing except I could sit at my desk and get my calls done. Be on top of it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
What about your older clients? Like, how would you, the one you were just talking about, how would you go back to that person if you haven't talked to them in 10 years to say, hey, I'm just checking in, or 5 years or 3 years?
Yeah.
What's that conversation look like?
Well, with that one, I'm obviously not going to have a conversation. She's listed,
Yeah, but on a typical basis, you think.
Right. But typically, when it's that old, it depends on the scenario of the person. So if it's been that long and the client had, I feel like, maybe this is a client that's looking to downsize soon, then you try to reach out to them on that level and provide some kind of value to that, because that might be what they're doing based on, age or demographic or whatever. There's a lot of different things like that. But yeah, a handwritten card is still the way to go. Like, I was just thinking about you. Today I was thinking about you. Sometimes I just throw it in, hey, I was in your neighborhood. I was showing houses in your neighborhood. I went past your house. It made me think about you. So that might make me just text somebody all of a sudden. I do that a lot with some of the clients. And I tell you another tip. I think this is really important. No matter whether it's a buyer or seller, put them in your phone. Put that contact in your phone. Put the name of the person. I always put buyer or seller, or I might put the property address or whatever in it too, and their phone number, because when that phone rings years later and you didn't put them in there, you may not answer that call because, right, it's just a phone number. But if you put the contact in there, you know, oh my God, I sold them that house 6 years ago. They're calling me. You don't want to miss those phone calls. Put those people on your phone. I don't think people do that, but it's the first thing I do when I have a lead that I'm actually working. I put them in my phone. Very important.
The ones I want to remember, because I can remember a lot of phone numbers, but some like this one that just happened. She called me a month ago, was talking about listing the house, thinking about going for sale by owner, talking to 16 other agents. And then she calls me back yesterday or 2 days ago and says, hey, this is Randy. I just want to make sure you remember me. I'm like, I don't, but let's, and then once she dove in, once she mentioned a little bit more, I remembered everything about the conversation a month ago. And we're shooting her photos today, and we're listing the house next week.
And that? We got to talk. Oh, okay.
it's a new listing coming, but it's we're shooting today because of the tenant situation. Yeah. But it was great that and she called me again last night. Thank God for caller ID, because it's her name's Ramdy, Ramdy, and so it comes up the caller ID. But I still haven't put her number in my phone. I need to get that done and make sure, because
you're going to do it after our call. Because
yes, exactly. Because then I'll put that. I'll put the address. So because I always remember people by the address, never by the name. I'm like, hold on, okay, that's John and Sarah or whatever.
Right. So, well, do you know how special they probably feel when you answer the phone and say, "Hey, Kim, oh my God, it's so good to hear from you."
Oh yeah.
And they're like, "Oh my God, she remembered my name."
Yep.
Well, yeah, my caller ID told me because I put your name in the phone, but still, like, it makes them feel even more special. And to me, that's probably someone that's going to want to work with you even more.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a big thing there. So, one of the things we've talked about doing is going to all of our old clients. And, it's something I talked to the team about, and it's on my schedule the next week to start doing, is people that are like 3 to 5, 7 years back, is doing a bunch of video CMAs to them and getting those out. And it's like they have gotten our drip stuff, but they haven't gotten that personal touch. Yeah. And whether you send them an email or a text, and just say, hey, actually send them an email and then send them a text on top of that to say, hey, John, it's been a long time. Just want to get, just stay in touch. We just sent you an email with a video CMA in your house. If you're thinking about selling, you know what the market's like. Check it out. Let us know if there's any thoughts. And happy to sit down and connect a little further.
Yeah. I mean, I know videos where everyone's going. I know it's a big part of the market. I'm still working on that myself, but I do like the video CMA idea because it's a visual. It's like a quick visual for them instead of a whole bunch of papers and a link. I mean, first of all, no one wants to open a link in an email, right? They get nervous about that. So if you are going to send something like that in an email, you do need to try to text them first, let them know it's coming, whatever. But also, I think when you know your clients, you get to know your clients really well, especially as buyers, because you've got them in your car, you're looking at houses. I mean, you end up knowing like a lot about them. So later on, you should know, was this a person that liked to text me a lot? Was this a person that only could handle a phone call because they don't have the technology for texting, right? So those are things to keep in mind. Even make notes in your database about that for the future, I hope that's not on fire.
That just fell.
But yeah,
that's how you know it's real, because the sign just fell.
Now it's important to know how people like to communicate and to remember that and to do it based on that, because not everyone's going to text. I mean, most people today do, and it's somewhat personal, but I don't think anything will ever take over the actual phone call and the communication over the phone or face to face. I don't think anything will ever beat that. So
yeah, and I called 2 agents yesterday to get some appointments set for the one that you're going to today, and they didn't answer the phones. I didn't leave voicemails. I sent them a text message and then said, please give me a call with some details. I want to get this appointment set. And then one texted me back and forth, the other one called me. And it's like, so I know his communication, the one that we're showing today. I know if I'm going to need him, I'm just going to end up texting him because he doesn't want to talk on the phone.
Yeah, some people don't want to, and so that's the way you'd handle it for sure.
It's all the old school business, and it's how you want to work it. So I wasn't going to ask you. We went through the older list. Your buyers that you're working with right now, just some kind of diving into that. What are you doing to try and help find them some business?
Find them the houses.
Yeah, find them the houses.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question it's challenging right now for everybody. I mean, inventory's low. The market's crazy. People are moving here from everywhere outside of Florida are moving here. So I think it's really important to set the expectation with your buyers as realistic as possible. I don't like to sugarcoat what I think I can do for you, or, it's going to be, you can't sugarcoat anything in this market because it's not easy. So yeah, we're having to work twice as hard, but we also have to be realistic with the buyer about what's going on, because it'll come back and burn you if you're not. They're going to think you're not doing your job. They're going to think you're not working hard enough for them. They're going to think those kind of things. And it's really important to set that expectation. Hey, we're in a really hot market and inventory's low. And I will tell you, your price point is super competitive. So we literally have to jump every time something comes in the market, because what you see today is going to be gone tomorrow. So if I didn't tell them all those things and create that urgency, of course I want to create the urgency, but I also want them to know that, but I'm here to help you. We're going to get through it together. We're going to find it together. So you want them also to feel confident, not just, the urgency. But if you don't do that, then they're going to think you're not working for them, because, you're their point of contact. So you're the one to blame in their eyes sometimes if you're not finding what they're looking for,
Yeah. You're right. 3, 4, 5 offers for them. And, and that's like one thing I tell the people, like, I will make myself available for you 7 days a week, 12, 15 hours a day. To jump on a whim, but you got to do the same thing, because if it's a Sunday morning that I'd rather be at home with my wife and kids, and I'm going to run out to go show you that house, you need to do the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the setting the expectation. It goes both ways, and you do it kindly, but at the same time, you have to tell them. I'm working with a buyer right now. We've written 9 offers, haven't gotten anything. They are VA, so it's a little more challenging in this market because there's so much cash. But I tell them all the time, tomorrow's a new day, new properties are going to come on the market. We will jump again and we will continue to look, and the right thing will happen when it's meant to happen, like it's going to happen. So you also have to calm them at the same time and remind them that, okay, tomorrow's a new day. I can't show them my frustration about it. I can show you my frustration. I can share it at home.
Yeah, she always complains. She doesn't have anything positive.
No, because we have to vent somewhere, right? I mean, we're realtors. I mean, it's not easy. It's not what you say on TV like people think it is. It might be in some markets, but not here.
I love the HGTV shows when we've gone into 4. We've looked at 3 houses. You got to pick between these 3. I'm like, they're not going to happen. One of them, Melissa Miller, our team down in Fort Lauderdale. Yeah. She went on there. And she was on HGTV, and I remember watching the one house they walked into. The husband and wife realtor that were there, like, we're expecting multiple offers. We just listed the house an hour ago. How are you expecting when you just listed and it's the first open house? Like,
I want to see that episode. I didn't know she was on there.
She was on there. It's her 3rd time on there.
Is that the House Hunters? Which show is that?
Yeah, it's House Hunters.
Okay, behind the scenes, they do all the work ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
Then they go and they film those 3 houses. So they've already been looking.
Yeah, no, and you walk into the open house, like, we're expecting multiple offers. I'm like, and this is last year, I think. No, I don't know. Maybe it was early 2020 that they filmed it or whatever. But it's just funny that you're already expecting multiple offers when you have no offers on hand. And
exactly.
It's a week later, you're still on the market.
Yeah. I know. And see, that's why it's not reality TV, because the reality was everything behind the scenes before. So if they filmed that, not everyone's going to want to be a realtor anymore.
Yeah. No, exactly. Oh, my God.
It's not that easy. No. Oh,
so,
my gosh.
What are some other tips that we can offer for people to, reach out to their sphere and repeat referral business? And even going out, like newer agents going after their business partners, being, their lenders, they're like the guys in like the B&I style. How do you go show value as a new agent to bring the referral business in?
I think it's important to bring the business in different ways throughout your life. So, we all have a life outside of work. So whether it's, what you do socially, any sports that you play, whether, any groups that you've joined in church, whatever it might be that you do outside of work, I think it's important to let people know what you do for a living, but do it nonchalantly, like not straight up all the time, because not everybody wants to hear, are you looking, do you have anyone that you can send me? Do you have any business you send me? You're going to buy your house soon. You're going to sell a house. They don't want to hear that. But I tell the agents that I'm working with now, I say, bring it into conversation nonchalantly all the time. And even in social media, bring it in, put on social media. Oh, today I just showed a house, or, whatever it is, something nonchalant that you just bring into the conversation is going to constantly make you top of mind to somebody of what you do for a living. And that's going to help build that referral business and that repeat business, right? But you have to do it, chill.
Right. That's kind of why I brand everything that I wear and that I do. We're actually talking about buying a branded vehicle now. We're going to be driving around. I have my face on it. I'm like, why not?
Oh my God, you're going to wrap a vehicle with your face?
Why not?
Oh, Lord. Help us all.
Yeah. But it's just people keep seeing it, and then they know you're in real estate. I was walking the dogs in the golf course last night, and somebody came by and they're like, "Hey, are you Todd?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Todd." She introduced me. I think she knows you. Just moved into our area, and because she mentioned your name, and then she goes, "Yeah, I've been following you guys I've been following your real estate for a long time." I'm like, "Oh, that's great. Well, too bad I don't recognize your name, because if you were truly following us, I would know who you are." But so we're building that brand out there, and that's the other part is, like, especially in the new agents, how can you build a brand? And it's just wearing realtor shirts. And I know some of the guys would always say, wear a name tag if you're in the grocery store.
I still wear a name tag. I highly
people ask questions.
I mean, you don't have to say a thing when you wear a name tag. I mean, One of my very first deals way back when was because I was standing at the deli counter at Publix with my name tag on. I was a brand new agent. I hadn't had a listing yet. I had worked with a couple of buyers, but not a listing. And I had someone start talking to me while we're waiting for our number to be called for our deli meet about real estate. What's the market like? It's just like being like knowing a doctor or someone else. Yep. People always want to ask you questions, right? So it starts the conversation, and all it was a name tag. Ended up getting that list. Like, that was one of my very first listings. So I'll never forget that. And I'm still, highly recommend wearing your name tag, when you go places. And it's the same thing. Yeah. Branding.
It's smart. I mean, if you're at the beach, you're not at the beach, but if you're at like your kids' soccer games, wear a shirt that says, like, they've got a new shirt that says realtor across. It's like friends, but they use the word realtor instead. So and I saw that at one of my kids' baseball games. I'm like, oh, so I know she's an agent now. Yeah. They just wear different things. And Catherine, one of our friends who owns a Jeep, she calls herself the Jeep realtor. And she now has a shirt that says, I'm a realtor and as awesome as my Jeep or something. I
want a Jeep.
It's cute. It's just cute marketing to put it out there. But even on social media,
putting it out there without being in someone's face all the time, asking for referrals.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that from time to time, but people don't want to hear that all the time. I mean, we all know that pretty much everybody knows probably five realtors. They probably have one in the family, whatever. It depends. So, it's a numbers game, but it's your job to remind people of what you do in a, kind of an under the table way all the time.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, Angela, I appreciate you jumping on today, just kind of throwing some tidbits out on how to get the marketing going or just how to build your sphere, repeat, and referral business. Sorry, guys, it's Friday. I'm done talking for the day, for the week.
Not a problem. I appreciate it for sure. Definitely being here.
Any final words you can offer our audience that we've got out there?
If you know anyone looking to sell a house, we need houses to sell. We got buyers.
We got plenty of buyers. I will throw a tip out there. I just posted last night on a Facebook page. I'm a realtor. I've got 5 buyers looking. If you're thinking about selling, let me know. Serious inquiries. And I had 72 comments. I've got 3 listing appointments, and found 2 off-market properties and a buyer from that.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. All right. Well, I'm gonna post that this weekend then. My turn.
Yeah.
I didn't want to all do it at the same time, but
it's
no joke. It's no joke that when you post that, we have the buyers,
Yeah.
And I think people realize it's true.
I have a 11:30 call and I got a 12 o'clock call on that. And then another one this afternoon that'll all tie into appointments next week. And 2 that I know that are going to be sold off market.
Yeah.
So if I've got buyers that are looking, it spurred some attention on there, and it's in the community page, So if you've got a local community page, buy swap group, or anything like that, it's a great place to post that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
there's business out there. You just got to go find it.
Yep. So one guy posted, "Hey, if you guys will offer me $350 for my house cash, I'll sell it." I'm like, "Well, what's your address? Give me the details. We may have a cash offer for you."
We might. There's no doubt. Probably. Well, thanks a bunch. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too. Appreciate it.
Thanks.